You are wrong. You're wrong. Whatever. I'm Eddie.
I
That
mean,
is
same
Chris.
same thing. And yeah, it was the same thing. You are,
Yeah.
you're
Yeah,
right.
you are. You're whatever. We're just
Hey,
talking about the biggest story this week. Of course, it is the Speaker of the House that just got ousted. We started on it last week, and this is unprecedented now. He got ousted halfway into his term. This has never happened before.
no.
Kevin McCarthy is now gone from the Rebel Alliance, so to speak, and Matt Gaetz and his crew. Now, do you think this is a good look for the Republicans? Do you have a name? Do you think that should jump up there? And will this affect you?
Are you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
My screen just went blank. I'm still here. All right.
Oh,
So why don't you do you want me to give my opinion first, or do you want to go in with
I can
yours?
go. Yeah, if you don't
Okay,
mind.
go ahead.
All right. I know it's kind of unpopular, but I kind of like what's happening. I don't like it in a way because it's making Republicans look like a bunch of disorganized fools. That part I don't like. But what I do like is for the reasons that he did it. I mean, he called out a guy that was given three different people three different answers, and he didn't keep to his word like he said he was going to do with pushing it more on the right side, and he went a lot of left in a lot of different discussions and bills that were being passed. There was not enough money, he thought, going here to the border crisis, to immigration, and he thought too much was going overseas to Ukraine into a war that we're supposed to not be involved in. And in that doing so, he kind of, so to speak, he joined up with the vote of the Democrats and kind of fucked over a lot of Republicans. But in my estimation, in my opinion, this just proves that it's not a Democrat versus Republican. It's establishment versus not. And right now, there's 8 guys and girls that are not establishment fighting the uniparty. And what they're trying to do is bring it back to the states, in my opinion, from the outside looking in.
Okay.
And I heard some of the rumors for who might step in the spot. At first, when it first happened, he was the name Trump got thrown out there, which was kind of crazy.
Well, that he can't do that because he's not in the
But we'll see. That's not part of the status quo. You don't have to be a House member to get voted as Speaker of the House. So the fact that he threw him out there, and Trump said he won, that he would, but it would kind of make it too much to do for him, I think, right now. It's just with the court cases going on, with the campaign trail coming up soon. It's going to be a busy fucking thing. But just
Okay.
imagining Trump as the speaker, being the third strongest person in the country, having to go speak to Biden behind closed doors would be somewhat of a fairy tale, and it would be just fun to see because of how much they hate each other, and then they would have to work together. They wouldn't have a choice, and
Well,
it would
there's a
just be a
couple of things I want to bring up when you're
fun
done.
thing. Good.
Yeah. So the first thing is when you say how much Biden and Trump hate each other. It's funny because every time a new president went into office, they always did pranks on each other going into office. I don't know if you know that, but like
Makes sense.
Clinton took the
It's kind of like a brotherhood.
on the keyboard he took the G and the W and the B off of the keyboard.
I
So
have
that
heard
when he was
stuff like that. Yeah,
yeah, so that's been a thing. So this is actually the first time with Biden coming in and Trump leaving that there was such animosity even when it was switching parties. Like we've never had something that president where it was this.
well, I honestly think there was such animosity. I mean, leading up to it, of course. I mean, they're battling every time there's one-on-one. They battle in the primaries. But I think what
Well, they're
made it
supposed to.
worse is just how much Trump felt like he got screwed in the election,
Well,
and
here's the thing. Well,
he
here's the
feels like
thing.
he got fucked over in the election, and Biden made it seem like, well, if it did or didn't, you lost, and it
Yeah.
just both, and then Biden going on stage and telling half the country that they're the enemy of the state. The number one
Well, I
enemy
mean,
in America is
when
white MAGA Republicans, and
well,
honestly, that was half the country at that time.
honestly, kind of for the anyone that stormed the Capitol, going saying that Trump told me to do this, that's kind of
Well, that's
illegal.
silly that Trump told you to, because I mean, Trump said it to don't
He's
do it.
he's he's no, he straight up said, if this happens, if I don't win, this is what I mean. You have to admit, a year before the election, Trump was straight up saying the election's going to be stolen. So he was already putting that seed into people's heads before it ever happened. But let's go back to,
Well,
because
isn't
you
that
brought
what
up that
Hillary's doing right now?
Hillary's
Hillary
not.
just went on a campaign trail saying, "Hey, 2024, there's going to be Russian misinformation, so be ready." She's
That's
setting the stage
because
for that same exact thing.
the past three elections, there was proof of what. But let's go back to Kevin McCarthy, because that's what we were talking about.
Yeah,
And
okay.
let's go back to, okay. So here's the thing with this one: it does make the Republicans look completely disorganized. The
Yeah.
thing with the speaker that has always is he is supposed to be that middleman between finding a bridge between the two
Yeah.
parties.
He's
That
supposed to
is
he's supposed to be the
his
guy to
actual job.
unite
And
everybody.
yeah, but when you talked about like how many Republicans and Democrats voted for Ukraine, there was 117 Republicans that voted against funding, but there was also
Oh yeah,
101 Republicans that voted for
I know.
funding.
Absolutely.
So
I
again,
agree.
you're putting this guy in the middle. The issue with it is the only reason why he became Speaker of the House is doing a very specific agreement where one party member can oust him, which was not the case in the other speakers before that. So he actually went into this agreement and changed some of the rules into how he can be ousted, which he didn't see that coming when he was working on deals between the two parties.
Yeah, well,
And
he
that
didn't see
was
it
his,
coming because it's never happened before.
well, because when that was added in as part of the deal, he should have seen it coming. That should have been a forefront. Why are they adding this thing where one person, yeah, it's not going to happen, it's never happened, but they added it, and that's never happened before either. That should have been
It's
a
just
red
kind of one of
flag.
those things to where something gets put into a contract and it seems like probably just white noise at the end of the contract or the end of the discussion. And sometimes that little piece of information is what can fuck you.
Yeah, and
That's
that's why
how
you
all this
always read your
Facebook
contracts.
and Twitter and all those other companies can keep all your information because of the little fine print. There's
Yeah,
always
that's
fine print, and that was part of this.
always read your contracts. That's
Yeah, which
essentially
is almost
what they
impossible
said.
now.
Yeah, but so that is definitely making the Republican Party as a whole look really disorganized, which is why the
Absolutely.
Democrats are like, you want to oust him? Fine, oust him,
Yep.
whatever. The big problem that I see is they didn't have someone there to take his place. If you're going to say, I'm going to do this, you need to have someone in mind to take that place, because instead of doing that, now they're in another recess and they don't have anyone lined up to take
Well,
that
I
position.
think they're holding a vote next week, right?
No, they're not. They don't have people. They have 3 or 4 people they have in mind, but they should have had this all set up before they
Well, yeah,
ousted
but
him.
I
They
mean,
should have been like
as of right now,
prepared.
there's 3 people that are nominated, and 3
Yeah,
people are in the running.
but
There's the
that's the thing is they're
Scaling, Fern, and Jim Jordan.
well. That's the thing. Like I said, this should have been done, decided beforehand, because now it's chaos, and
Oh
it
yeah,
makes
it
them look
absolutely is,
disorganized.
especially right in the heart of this shutdown looming.
Yeah. Well, and another thing is what they didn't think of is in the writing, he could have re-elected himself for 3 days as speaker, because he's the one who has to appoint a substitute speaker. So we can say, you know what, I'm going to do this for the 3 days, and then they would vote on whether they want to keep that person or they're going to say no. But then he can reappoint himself again over and over again and for 3 days.
But
That
didn't he leave an interim? I
he
believe there's an
did
interim there. They just don't have the power to like actually send bills through. But
they
there
don't
is somebody
without a
sitting there
speaker.
for an interim, but they just can't do anything.
No, without a speaker, they cannot. That person needs to be. It's like filling. Like right now where I work, there's an upper end something going on, and someone is leaving, and in order to do certain things, we have to have this position filled, or we are stuck at a standstill. That's essentially what just happened now with the ousting of the Speaker of the House. So that is again, they should have had these things in place beforehand,
Do
and
you
now
have any speakers that you wouldn't mind seeing taken over?
the people that I wouldn't mind seeing take over were actually already ousted from their party, because they were choosing not sides, but they were choosing what bills they thought were best for their community, and they were ousted by that community because of it.
And who would they be? Because they don't have to
Um,
be a House member to be Speaker,
oh God, hang on. I can
but
think
they
of
do have
who.
to be nominated.
Yeah, it's okay. Hang on, because hang on, I have to look up what their name
Well,
is.
it was kind of funny today because doing my research for this, I was watching videos and kind of looking up news articles, and Erica was there, and she saw Matt Gaetz, and the first thing she goes is, "He looks like a slime ball."
No, she's not ousted yet. Megan McCain.
Meghan McCain.
She
Oh, from
she
Arizona or Utah
yes.
or something like that.
She is she's very smart. She's very intelligent. She votes with what she feels is best. She did vote against funding Ukraine. I know that's something that you're against. And
Yes,
you can
one
look
hundred
up what
percent,
they so
100%.
but she does if she sees something that she actually thinks is right, she has no problem like going to either side as long as she feels it's the right thing to do for where she is. And I feel like that's what we need regardless of what party is in
Well, see,
charge.
the problem is right now it's not going to be a Democrat just
Well,
because
they
the,
can't.
the the Republican does hold the House. I mean, I know the
Yeah.
8 did vote with the Democrats. I just don't see a Democrat taking the lead because they still need the
Well,
majority of the
no,
votes.
they need the Speaker of the House is always the party that's in charge of the House.
Yes, exactly.
So that's and Meghan McCain is a lifelong Republican.
Oh, I thought she was Democrat. Okay, I didn't know that.
No, she is a lifelong Republican. Her father was Senator McCain. He's the one who had brain cancer.
Okay.
Okay, but so she's always so the reason
Well,
why I
see,
like her is because she doesn't just hold strictly to the party. She will go towards what independents are voting for if she feels it's right. She will go for what Democrats are voting and that's what you need. You need that center
we
ground.
need someone like you said that can do what's right and be able to say what's right, but on top of that, be able to work with both sides and the president. It
Yes.
has to be a leader. It has to be a lead by example type person to where people just want to work with that person, even if he or she is demanding something that just seems ridiculous. But you have to be able to work with the other party.
I think
Now,
some of the people that wouldn't work would be Mitch McConnell. I think
yeah,
he needs
well,
to go.
Mitch McConnell can't do the job that he's at now. He needs
He
to
keeps
retire and
glitching.
go home and fucking go in a nursing home.
He keeps glitching. Like
Yes,
he'll
he
stop.
does.
And there's a Democratic senator that's in the same boat whose daughter has power of attorney over, and she
There
needs to
needs,
go.
yes, there needs to
Like
be some sort of cognitive test once they hit a certain age, especially once it gets noticed. Once the public or mainstream notices some mental affluation in a person, they need to. I mean, I'm not saying a specific age limit, but there needs to be some sort of regular cognitive that they can do on a regular basis because we can't have someone that can't function running areas
yeah,
for
it doesn't
hundreds and
make
thousands
sense.
of people.
There was actually a Saturday Night Live skit on this where they actually are carrying senators that were voted in but passed
Yeah,
away in urns. Like my senator is voting because that's essentially what we're going towards right now is we're ignoring the fact that these people are in mental decline.
yeah,
They're in like there needs
absolutely.
to be people coming in who understands what's going
Well,
on, but
also a
they
big one is that Fetterman. I know he might have a lot of fucking love in the areas where he's here in Pennsylvania, but he is mentally compromised. He has had a stroke. He cannot be the
okay.
leader of thousands of people if you can't lead yourself.
Yeah, I'm not
His wife is
disagreeing with
taking
that.
over his job because he can't physically do it.
It's the same. Yeah, it's essentially the same thing. So one of the reasons. Like, I didn't agree with a lot of McCain's policies. Her father, Mitch, Senator
Megan.
McCain. He
Oh,
no,
John
I
McCain.
yeah, but he went. I remember one of the biggest things he did was when he was diagnosed with brain cancer, and he was the deciding vote on something, and he actually went to the floor to vote on what he thought was best. During his treatments, he still had his mental capacity to be able to do this.
Some of them can, but
And
some of them
that's what
can't.
I mean. He did, and there are senators who aren't even in their chambers voting. There are people who are voting. If you actually watch C-SPAN and how some of the things are going, there are like just runners who are voting for their senator who is not even sitting in session right now. They are off doing their own thing. Maybe they slept in, maybe they didn't show up, or you'll see some of them actually asleep instead of voting on what needs to be done. Now, I'm not talking about like the votes when they're going into these separate little rooms where they're trying to delegate and work together to create these smaller laws to bring forward so that they're working together. But I mean, like the actual House and Senate votes. If you watch C-SPAN, the senators, some of them are sleeping.
Yeah, I
Half
know.
of them aren't even there, so we're not
Well,
getting
because
these
half
extra
of them
votes.
are in cognitive decline to
Yeah,
where you wouldn't let half of them watch your animals for a week if you were going on vacation.
I wouldn't let them. I wouldn't let them watch my TV because it
That's what
might
I'm
hurt the
saying.
brain. It's like
If If you picture these people that are in all these power positions and you could see them as that Walmart greeter and barely able to do that job, how the fuck are they leading thousands?
Yes,
How are they able
exactly. I
to
don't disagree.
pull the wool over so many incumbents and different people, young people, up and coming? I'm not strictly saying young is better, but mental capacity to do
It's not
normal
even
things is a
necessarily
must.
being young. It's that it's you need to be like have the cognitive ability to be able to
Yep.
walk
Yep.
upstairs.
Well, yes.
Like
And just, well, I mean, that could be something if they have a wheelchair. I mean,
okay, yeah, but you know
but it
what I
has to be
mean.
a mental problem. If
They,
physically they broke their leg or they're in a wheelchair, you can't do nothing about that. But
if you're
if,
getting confused that your daughter is your granddaughter, there's a
yep,
problem. Or that your
absolutely.
granddaughter is your child, or that you have to sign over power of attorney to your child
Yes.
because you're not mentally capable of
And
doing things yourself.
the people didn't hire her. They hired him.
Exactly. So I'm not disagreeing with him. There should have for these kind of cases there we should have special elections. Like I'm getting like mail right now concerning the election and I'm to the point
Yep.
now where I'm like, listen, I don't go off of like, hey, we need to stop this person because they're this party. I'm going off of, well, let me see what they voted for before.
Yes.
Let me
It,
see what they're doing right now.
well,
Are they
that's
helping their
why
communities right now? I have something floating in my
Well,
face.
that's why I also think it's not so much left versus right. It's
It shouldn't be.
establishment versus not establishment. That's where the party lines are drawn. Right versus right versus left is a uniparty thing. They are not against each other. They are hand to hand with 95% of everything put up through. It's the 5% that are fighting for the people
See,
because
I
they're
don't
not
agree.
trying to
I
do
think
what's
the
better for
people
their
that
people
you're
and their
saying,
constituents. They're
some of
trying to
the
do
people
what's
that you're
better
talking
for their
about
donors.
aren't don't make sense. If that 5% you're talking about, I feel like you're talking about Bober and those people. Like they're not they are not fighting for the constituents. They
Okay,
are
well,
literally fighting for the money that they
I want to
have.
show you something real
Their
quick.
donors.
Hold on one second.
Okay,
I'm
I
gonna
can't
share
stay
this
on as
screen.
long as we normally could just because I have to finish getting ready. And this was like yesterday texting me saying, "Hey," I'm like, "Okay."
Okay, I just want to show you something real quick. Hold on one second.
Hillary Clinton, Jim
All right.
Jordan. See, I don't. These aren't the
Well,
people
wait,
I'm
wait.
talking
There's
about, though.
it's a 30-second video. Watch this, and I want to get your opinion on it. Hold on, the 5-second thing. Hold on one second.
Okay, let me.
Can you hear it?
No, but it's. Hang on.
Can you hear that?
I can't hear anything.
Right. Maybe I can't show you sound.
Republican. Well,
Here,
the problem
I'll
is
do.
this. I give me the gist of it because a lot of this can be
Well,
considered
here,
copyright.
I put closed captioning on. Just watch this real quick. Okay. Now the only reason I brought that video up is how do I stop sharing? Here we go. Firm, stop sharing. Okay. The only reason I brought that video up is to show if it's left versus right, wouldn't she be wanting the Republican Party to look discombobulated? She wants them to
Well,
look all fucked up and weak. So why is she so upset that the top guy, which was Republican, the Speaker of the House, why is she upset that he's ousted?
that's
And
the
why is
thing
she
is
upset the
when
Republican is fucking up and looking
so
stupid when her party's looking good?
here's the thing. A lot of when you talk to like I think we spoke about this last week when McConnell actually remember he did his glitches and they
Yep,
were
yep.
Biden said I don't agree with him politically, but I want to make sure he's okay.
Yeah, but see,
It's
this is
it, but
different.
it, what
This
I'm
is
saying
not.
is it's not
This is
we
not.
shouldn't want they shouldn't
They're
want the other parties to look bad. I don't like as someone who is considered I don't want either party to look bad because that makes us look bad. I don't want either party to in fact, I don't even want a party system. This is one of the dumbest things we have ever come up with
Yeah,
as
the hard
Americans.
part is replacing it, though. I
Yeah.
mean, I've thought about that 100 times. Is if we didn't have a two-party system, how do we go about getting the right person for the right job? I mean, would it be some sort of like accolades passing test where they would have to make it so far past their state, and then kind of like a tournament, you go farther and farther and farther, people kind of vote against each other. It would just basically be picking 2 or 3 people out of random,
Yeah.
and it would.
Well,
I've
I
thought
think
about
there
how we'd
should
be
be.
able to do that.
I think in my opinion, people who are in these big offices need to have experienced actual life, not just like the silver spoon thing. And a lot of our
Well,
politicians don't go through
all
things
silver
that
spoon.
kind of
That's the
make them.
problem. The silver spoon babies are the establishment,
It's not
and they're
all of
going
them, but
after.
yeah,
I
there
mean,
there
well,
are quite a few.
see, you think that she's upset because it makes her as a government look bad. Well, if that's the case, why is she so much against Jim Jordan coming up? Because
I
Jim
mean,
Jordan would stabilize things, and according to people on the right, he would. But according to her, I mean, why is she
so
upset that one
I think, like
Republican
I
is out?
said,
Because she has to know, no matter what, it's going to be a Republican. It just is.
yeah.
But the fact that she's against one and not the other, because
So
he's
I
not part
think,
of their crew. He's not part of the inside like gist. He's 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 a
well, I
different kind of
well,
cat that's fought the establishment for the last 15 years. He's been a
here's the
bug in their
thing.
sides.
Jim Jordan is very, when it comes to being speaker, you have to have someone who's moderate. Jim Jordan is very, very right wing.
Well,
And again,
he's
I have
moderate
nothing
right.
against him.
He's not super right. He is
He is,
moderate to an
well,
extent.
he doesn't really think for himself though. He does, he thinks more along with just complete party, where like I said, the reason why I like Senator McCain is because she has voted outside of her party when she felt it was best, whereas he has not. You can pull up what he's voted for, and he sticks
Yeah, I'm not
along the
exactly sure
lines.
what he's voted for.
Yeah, he stays along extreme party lines, and that's a problem. You need someone who can work with the other side. He is not someone who's going to be able working with both sides. And because of how close the Senate is when it comes to the numbers of Democrats and Republicans, they will need 7 Democrats to vote along with them to vote in that Republican speaker. They have to have those votes. There will not be enough. That's why with with the previous Speaker of the House, it took 14 votes to get him in as speaker. It was huge. There was a constant
Oh,
redoing.
to get McCarthy in.
Yes, it took
Yeah.
him 14 different votes to get him in as Speaker of the House. And the
Well,
issue
see,
is,
the problem was when he finally got it, he told everybody different things. That's
yeah,
why he's out now. Is he made promises to people he couldn't keep.
you
And
can't
that's the
play.
problem with the modern politician. Because the modern politician, left or right, will yell from every commercial and say what they're going to do and what they're not going to do. And then they're not going to, and they just constantly lie and blow smoke up people's asses.
Yeah,
Like,
you can't play both sides.
I
You
love the fact that everybody hates Trump. Since the mainstream went after him, I love it. I love the fact that he speaks from the cuff, that he doesn't talk off of a script. But what I didn't like is his whole first running campaign was build the wall, build the wall, build the wall. And he had 4 years to do it with the House and the Senate, and he never built the wall. I understand mainstream was attacking him. I understand the Russian disinformation was going on the whole time. And I understand they were trying to make him look racist because they were saying, if you build it, you're racist because then you hate Mexicans. And I understand he was going through all that. But his biggest promise was build the wall. And it's just another domino that every single politician always throws out there. Barack Obama did the same thing. Bush
never
did the
said he would
same
build a
thing.
wall.
They always promise
It's
shit
usually
that
the
they
right wing.
can't do.
But so here's the thing. I really don't. I don't think we have the time to talk about Trump right now. Like we don't have that kind of time.
No, I'm
Because
just saying
that would go on forever. But what
how
I'm going to say about
politicians
him,
lie to everybody, and that's what McCarthy did. But he didn't do it to the people. He lied to his own constituents. That's what got him ousted.
so what I'm going to say when it comes to like how people don't like the man, that's more of a personality thing than anything else.
What?
It's how he speaks. Trump has a terrible personality when it comes to people. How he
Trump
talks
is
about
funny,
women.
though. Trump is funny.
Yeah, but
Everyone loved Trump before he wrote. Everyone loved him before he went for president. He had the number one show on TV for like 8 years straight.
I
I didn't watch it either,
I think he was
but
an
it
idiot.
still was number one show on TV.
But the thing with that is, like, when you're talking about how Russia was, anytime, so one of the biggest issues I had with how Trump was is that he broke long-standing rules that we've had in presidency since we had presidents,
But
including.
isn't that good?
No, it's not putting your business.
How is it not good?
Because putting your
We've been
business
fucked
into a
over
blind.
for all these
Wait,
years, and he
you're not
pulled the
letting.
curtain back and said, "Look it, here's how they're fucking you
No,
over."
no. You're not letting me finish. One of the biggest rules that we had for presidency was that they must put businesses into blind trusts. They cannot benefit financially from being president. Even Jimmy Carter had a peanut farm, had to give it up and sign
Yeah,
it
but
over to
Trump
someone
never
else.
took a dollar for president.
Not for presidency, but he made money as president.
But he's been making money before presidency. So what? You're president and you stop all of your other things?
Yes, your things are signed over to a blind trust. You are
No,
not.
see, that's
that has
silly.
happened, but that has happened because you are not supposed.
Okay, well then how was Bush able to make oil money while he was president?
His money
How
was
come
still
Bill
put in a
Clinton
blind
became a billionaire after he was president?
because he sold books.
Because of insider trading.
Okay,
They
but you're
all
not.
do it.
You're not letting me finish.
Okay, well, I'm
He
waiting like
made
half an hour
millions.
now.
He made we've not been on for an hour. I'm looking at. He made millions because because of his hotels, he had business dignitaries staying at his hotels when they would come to Washington, and he doubled the price for every room they stayed in. Not only is he making money off of that, he's the one who got to plan that. So anytime he would go to
Sounds like smart business.
but he's not supposed to be running his businesses.
See,
Even
that's
if it
a
was
rule I don't agree with. I just don't. I understand. I guess that's a rule being president.
that
But
gives
I
you a
don't agree with that
conflict
rule.
of that gives you a conflict of interest. Instead of allowing them, the people coming in to decide where they want to stay, they're like, no, you are staying here because this is where he does business, his hotels. That's a problem. That gives a huge conflict of interest. He was in charge of the pricing of those hotels when they stayed there. Anytime he would travel to another place, he would double the cost of those rooms, and his Secret Service was being charged. And it's not him paying for it. It's us. We're
but I mean, come on. Hotel rooms compared to Ukraine, it's not even close.
How much
not even close.
How much do you think a hotel room in Washington for Trump hotel costs?
I'd say less than 240 billion.
Okay, but how many dignitaries would come in from different countries?
The fact that he jacked up the prices for his room for people coming to stay at it, that's business. That's nothing to do with us.
That's still a conflict of interest when it comes to how he's running the country.
Okay, well, Biden makes money from China and Ukraine. They pay him like quadruple what we pay him for.
Okay, Trump is the only one that's proven to work in China. It's the reason why his daughter got a patent.
No.
Yes, his daughter.
There's a whole bunch of evidence right now with him and Hunter getting paid from China.
The Hunter thing is they have absolutely no evidence, which is why
nothing. Do you really think they have no evidence?
For Hunter, yes.
Police recordings. I mean, laptops. That's not evidence.
They don't have evidence of
Hunter saying yes. We have to pay the big guy. The big guy is his father. That is directly evidence of him saying that.
No, but that has not. No, it isn't.
Do you really think that he's not doing that?
I 100% think. Because when his son was arrested and being charged, he said, that is a separate matter. I'm not going to involve myself.
He wasn't arrested for that, though. He was arrested for like the gun thing of having an unspecified gun or unregistered gun or something like that.
No, he was arrested because he had drugs and he had a weapon on himself when he was high.
Okay, that's evidence. Biden straight up said a district judge in Ukraine was not giving Hunter, his son, a good qualified look, a very crooked one. And then Biden said on the podium, he said, yeah, I told him, if you want that money from Barack Obama, you better change that judge. And you want to know what? He changed the judge. So he threatened money from the U.S. to get the judge he wanted appointed in a different country.
Okay,
that's evidence.
Wait. I have a question. One, that's not evidence because then Biden would have already be impeached.
So, but that's the problem. They can't.
They can if they could. Okay, they.
That's why McCarthy. Another reason why McCarthy was ousted because he didn't do the impeachment fast enough, and he's dragging his feet with it.
McCarthy has nothing to do with the impeachment. It has to do with the number of votes.
No. But he has to decide to go forward. That's what the speaker does. They decide what to move forward with it and what to talk about. The Speaker of the House decides what bills to work on and where to move forward and which laws and what to deliberate on. That's what the Speaker's job is.
So Okay, so the key witnesses in the impeachment trial specifically say there are no evidence that shows that President
No, but
Biden
see
has
the no
committed a
evidence
crime.
thing.
The witnesses
There's
and
a video.
Republicans on the panel argue that the bank records from Biden and his son Hunter are needed to determine them. But
No,
the
see,
thing is, they have
no,
nothing. They have
there,
nothing.
Patty, because that says, sorry, Trish, because that says there's no evidence, does not believe there's no evidence. There is a shit ton of evidence. But Biden told mainstream to help him out because he's being attacked by Trump. So now you got all of mainstream saying, well, all of them except Fox are all saying there's
Okay,
like collages of it saying, well,
Fox,
there's no evidence, there's
okay,
no evidence, no evidence, no evidence. There is a shit ton of evidence, a shit ton. And it's that laptop, it's voice recordings, it's voicemails, it's corroborations between people. There's a lot of evidence. A lot of it.
I disagree, and I think there's proof that Fox News is one of the least honest news stations that we have in the United States. And I'm looking for the chart right now. It is one of the
What
least
now?
evidence. Fox News is one of the least evidential news stations in the United States.
No,
They
Fox
are
News is right. All the rest are left. So
no,
just
that's
because
not
they're
true.
right doesn't mean that
No,
they're
no,
the
no,
least
no.
evidence.
It is there. Someone, I'm trying to look for the article I found a long time ago because I had the same argument with someone else. Fox News is considered one of the least ethical, one of the least likely to bring actual news forward. That is true. The fact that they are in a second lawsuit because they have lied on air is
No,
proof
they're in a
of that.
second lawsuit because the voting machine people, who are very powerful people, got a shit ton of money off them. And it's proved their voting machines are hackable. And the fact that they said that they are hackable, they got sued for 100 million and stipulated to get the what's his face Tucker fired. Their machines are hackable, and they got sued for saying they were hackable. And they were proved on an HBO special years ago. They are very easily hackable. They had kids hacking them. And the
Yeah,
fact that they got
kids are
all
learning how
that
to
money
code. That
suited
makes
on
sense.
them, it just shows how crooked our court systems and political systems are. Because Fox News is the only mainstream news that leans right. All the rest are all left.
Actually, PBS news station is one of the most trustworthy, and so is there's Vox, VOX are considered the most honest. Not scenes, not C, not
Well, see,
CBS, not this
CNN,
one.
MSNBC,
Yeah,
they
no,
lied
no.
about Joe Rogan.
Again,
Deliberately.
I said the most honest ones are I think Vox, which is through HBO Max, their news station, and PBS are considered some of the most honest. The other ones are very biased, leaning one way or another. So you're not wrong about that. I'm not disagreeing. It's one of the reasons why I try and stay away from most news stations. But
Yeah,
anyways, both they're all gonna have the hand.
okay. I got one more short video, and then I'll let you get off because I know you're in a hurry.
No, we let's go into because this is actually not going for what we were talking about in general, anyways. So let's go to our funnier.
Oh, the last topic.
Thing. Yeah.
All right. Oh, real quick before we leave this topic, then, who do you want? You want Meghan McCain, right?
I think Meghan McCain is the smartest choice for both sides because she won't make she doesn't generally make promises she can't keep. She has worked with Democrats and Republicans she is a Republican. She has been a lifelong Republican. It's her own voting
I mean, that's not a bad choice. I mean, I don't know much about her, but I'm learning as we go with these talks now. I'm learning a little more politics. I'm learning a little ins and outs. I'm watching a lot of tutorials and everything like that. Haven't heard much about her. I thought I've heard the opposite things about her, but I'll have to do more research. I can't really say one way or another. I would like Jim Jordan only because I think he wants a lot of the same things I do when it comes to the money going. I think he wants immigration, and from what I've heard, he wants to shake shit up with the establishment. And I am completely not establishment. But my dream scenario would be Trump. I would love to have Trump as the third most powerful guy in the Washington.
There's no way anything would get passed. at all if Trump were there. You need someone who can work both sides. If we don't have that, we're going to have another do nothing contest.
I think if there's majority, there's ways, but you would have to get every single majority member to
there's
go
the
through it.
majority in one house.
Yeah, in one part, yeah. But yeah, that's just my dream. I know Trump's not going to happen. It's probably going to end up being Jordan, if not Scalene. But Trump, it would just be so much fun.
I think the smartest choice would be someone who is more center than completely right or left.
Yeah, well, Trump was Democrat forever, and then he went Republican. So it's not like he's changed so much. He's always been this boisterous, loudmouth guy.
He said he went to Republican because he likes people who are uneducated. He straight up said that in an interview. So, I mean...
I think that's more common, man, because I think the more money you make, the more right you lean, only because
the more
educated money you want to keep people, from your money. But
the more educated people don't vote Republican. The more money they have.
The more educated people, a lot of them that are highly educated, that go to school, go to these Harvards, go to these Stanfords, that live on campus, they're in a bubble. They live in a world that's not real. They live in a world where they need to be everybody's champion, and they need to go with this and learn how to. Everyone's
a very specific group of people, because that's like saying, like, I'm in a bubble. I'm a single parent.
No, it's different because you're not on campus. You're not surrounded 24/7. If you were on campus right now, every college kid on a Spark campus, most of them are saying, I'm oppressed in some way because of this. Even though they're in college, even though they have a full ride, even though they're probably going to get a job that's going to take them the rest of their life and they're going to be successful. But the millions more people that didn't make it to college, that didn't make it there, that are working check to check, those people don't exist in their eyes. Those people are being held down, whether it be for one thing or another. But the people going to a Stanford, to a fucking Yale, to a anything like that, you are not oppressed at all. You are among the elites.
One of the most interesting things that I always thought was, so I took a college level U.S. history class, which was mind blowing.
No, the problem is living on campus.
Wait, I know, but this was interesting because a lot of the times, like, well, they're going to twist history to make this like this. Well, two of the things that we studied in this class was about the mothers of slaves, which is, of course, we're going to read journals. But
the Chinese were slaves more recently, and they're fine. So
hang on, wait. Well, and we actually had to research the African population that abandoned the Union Army.
So do you think that any African population are more oppressed than white people right now?
Okay, I'm not.
Okay, I'm just asking you. They're just like a yes or no. Do you think black people right now are more oppressed than white people?
I think it's more difficult for people of color to do certain things, especially when they're born into like people that lived in Syracuse. Hard to get out. Hard to get out of that situation when you're taught.
It's not hard to get out. You just
you're taught from a young age, but you didn't go to the school there. You didn't see how the students were treated there. And they
were treated like slaves, or they destroyed their school enough where the teachers didn't care anymore.
No, the teachers cared, but the problem is they are taught that you cannot get out of this situation.
See, you can't say the black people, because there was white people too.
There were.
You think Oprah's kid, Will Smith's kid, have a harder time than me or you doing anything?
But we're on different levels. No.
Yes, because that's what matters. It's class, doesn't matter. Not race.
If you're at a certain level, it is more difficult for certain people to get a certain way. Even having different names can take you off of certain job applications. But let's get into the funny topic. This topic has neither. Okay,
all I'm saying is right now the most oppressed people in the country are white people.
I think
we're the fault of everybody's problem, and that's just it. But if you could turn on the news, you could see white hate nonstop. But
you're talking about something that's more prejudice. So if you're gonna go to the funny thing.
Let's
do that.
Okay. Now we're done with the serious shit. So now let's end it lightly. We need to figure out what is the funniest part in any movie to ever happen. What part in any movie? Not saying the funniest movie, but a part in a specific movie that had you laughing the very hardest you can ever remember. And I'll start it off because I know you're saying you're still taking on a little bit, but so I'll give you a little time to think. I actually have two. They're from the same franchise, but a lot of times a franchise does the same thing in the next movie, and that's what happened, and I laughed just as hard the second time in the second movie. It is, I don't know if you ever seen 21 Jump Street.
Long time ago.
There's 21 and 22. It's Channing Tatum and Jonah Hill. But the funniest parts I've ever seen in any movie is where in each part of those movies where both of them end up taking the drug they're supposed to be stopping. They have to
Okay.
take it on, and they end up taking like an accident, and just both of them when they get high, because it kind of goes step by step and showing this drug what it does to you in this high school, and their job is to go pretend to be kids and stop this drug from like basically migrating outside the school because it's dangerous. But they have to take it to prove to the drug dealer that they're cool because they're trying to find out who did it. And the time that both of them get high in those movies is got to be one of the funniest things I've ever seen in my life. It's to where I was crying by the time I was done with it. Also, the same thing in Old Dogs. I've ever saw Old Dogs with John Travolta and
I have not, no.
but when, again, the little kids in that movie switch all the old people's medications. So old people always have problems as they get older, but they end up switching all their pills on them in an accident. So Robin Williams and John Travolta take each other's pills, and just the way the movie does it, the way they use the camera tricks, and it's the funniest thing in the world to me, I guess, is just people being fucked up, being high on accident, not knowing what to expect, and having the regular world be regular, but their views distorted so bad to where it's very humorous to where I laugh so hard every single time I see him. It doesn't matter if I've seen him 1,000 times. Every time I see those clips and those scenes in those movies, I can't stop laughing. It's a crying laughter to where I am in tears by the time it's over, and I can't even make my way through it.
Okay,
But
so
that would be mine. I couldn't pick one. I've thought of a few that really got me going that I remember. I mean, maybe there has been one I don't remember, but they really stand out to where I remember watching them, and every time I lose my shit because it's with the camera and the acting, and it has me going every time. So, do you
so
have any that kind of stand out to you?
um Lord of the Rings, the second one with the big fight. And they're standing outside the wall and they're trying to board up the door, the drop down thing. And
Yeah.
the orcs are coming in and they're like, I don't know how we're gonna get over there. And then Gimli looks up and he goes, toss me. He goes, what? He just looks at him, he goes, toss me. And then he stops, he goes, don't tell the elf. Because in the first movie, he's like, never toss a dwarf.
Yeah, I do remember that thing being kind of set up too. They
Yeah.
they set that up leading up to that part.
And then the other part was where the same movie before that, where they're marching and Gimli is at the wall and the archers are up high and he's jumping. He's like, I can't see anything. And then Legolas looks at him and he goes, do you want me to describe it to you or shall I get you a box? Just-
That's stupid.
I'm like, just this
Yeah.
it's like self-deprecating humor, like when he's telling him to throw him, is fucking amazing to me when people can make fun of themselves. Like
Yeah, that definitely helps.
when Ryan Seacrest will do cameos and things about him and just like he's like, I heard I was gay. So
Yeah,
just like
well,
random shit like that.
I think he has that gay vibe, definitely.
Yeah, but
Only
it's
because
just
he's
it's
he's
him
well
making
manicured, and that's basically it.
and him making fun of himself
Yeah, yeah.
is hilarious to me. And it's the same thing whenever I see Stephen King doing some random shit in one of his movies. Like
Steven.
in Rose Red, where he's the pizza man, and he's like, "You guys having a party?" in
He's
there?
like the horror version of Stan Lee.
Yes,
Shows up in his movies randomly as a character and just off kilter.
I think one of the funniest things I've heard that is completely fucked up in a long time was when Bob Barker died, and they said he made it as close to 100 as he could without going over.
Ah!
'Cause he died at 99.
That's actually pretty good, yeah.
And I'm like, that it's not a movie, but it's one of the funniest things I've heard, and it's such dark humor
Yeah,
that when
but it goes right along with Bob Barker's life
and
work.
who he was, and it's just like
Well, he even did that same thing, that self-deprecating thing in Happy Gilmore. The price is wrong, bitch, and it
bitch,
knocks
yeah.
him out in the thing. So Bob
Yeah,
Barker got into that too. Kind of
actually, yeah,
playing yourself.
honestly, most Adam Sandler movies would be up there too. Like,
Yeah,
it's
Adam Sandler's
super
got a
funny.
bunch of funny ones, and
But I just like the funny when you don't expect it. That's why I like the ones in Lord of the Rings
yeah,
where
I
it's
was
like,
gonna say that's definitely a different movie to pull out a funny scene
yeah,
from. That's definitely different.
I like those.
Do you like the Lord of the Rings movies?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
I like
Hobbit
I like
ones?
I have all of them, made the kids watch them with me. I'm making them watch the Star Wars movies with me, and they have no like they
What's
don't
the
care
best Lord of
about
the Rings movie, including the Hobbit ones? If you have a Hobbit one, that's better.
honestly, I think the Two Towers is the best.
Two Towers is good. Yeah, that's probably the best, if not Return of the King.
Two Towers, and then I would say the Decimation of Smog with
Okay.
the third Hobbit one where
Yeah.
you get the dragon and he finally goes down.
Yeah. The Hobbit one. It's just I I like it, but it's really slow. Lord
Well,
of
it
the
wasn't
Rings.
meant to be
Yeah,
that
I
like
know, but it felt too slow. It should
was
have been
that
two movies.
Lord of the Rings was 3 books,
Yeah,
each book.
but the Hobbit
Smart
was one small book.
when yeah, so that's
Yeah,
where it kind of
they
fucked it
they,
up. I
they kind of had to stretch shit out, and I think if it was two movies, it probably would have played tighter and just a little more cohesive. But they're fun movies to watch.
oh
They
yeah,
really are.
and
But
Veritas
I
is
know
much
you
more
got to do your
scary
thing,
stuff. Oh yeah,
and
we
you
got it
have a
so
friend coming in and all that fun. Do you have plans? You going out with her? Or?
we're no, we me and one other girl, 2 girls are going out to eat, and I'd never go out. I certainly don't go out with coworkers, and since neither one of them works there anymore, it works.
Where are you going?
Where are we going? We're going.
Burgers, buffet.
No, we're going. They wanted it to be something where we can grab a drink with it.
Oh, okay.
So it's called Jubilee Restaurant.
All right. So it'll be new for you too.
Oh yeah, I'm excited. I'm like, you guys are gonna actually see me try to look nice, which I don't normally do.
Hey, you do your thing. You have fun, enjoy yourself, have some friends, some girl fun, and yeah, enjoy it because you're off tomorrow too, right?
No, I think I work tomorrow.
Really?
I
For
don't.
Columbus Day?
I don't know.
You
I
still
know that
don't know. Well, you better
I.
find out soon.
I'm like
All right. Well,
maybe.
thank you for stopping by, and we'll do this again. And I know you hear it all the time, but you're wrong.
Yeah, I don't actually hear that a lot.
Whatever. All
All
right.
right.
I'll talk to you later.
Bye.
Bye.